Oh, what is great with you? Another live and waiting on the God Hakeem Glue Music to chime in with us. He should be on in a second. Yeah. Peace, what's going on? Act to join my brother. If I can let you in. Oh, peace, what's up? Breeze by Mary. Thank you for joining us. Namaste. Tonight, we'll be speaking about spiritual transformation through radical self-acceptance. Speaking about the shadow, the ego, the pain body, whatever you want to label it, but unfinished energy that has not been resolved, that's just sitting in the heart, waiting to be activated. Namaste, everybody. What a wonderful evening to be sharing information. I got me a new toy here. Handheld singing bowl. Hey, Mr. Ham, that must be somebody who know me from school or something. We got Sweet Zeta 6 just joined. Namaste, God, it's nice for you to join us. Yeah, so we talking about radical self-acceptance. What does it look like? How do I do it? And with me, it was through accepting my shadow side, the trauma, the insecurities, the low self-esteem, the things that happened to me in my childhood as a kid, and those mental situations formulate to a physical pattern or habit that we have. And it's not our fault, don't get it twisted. It can be in our DNA from our ancestors 1,000 years before us. But you know, when we die, the only thing we truly keep is our consciousness. So the physical stuff, the muscles, the money, the cars, the women, the guys, all that is left here in the where the five senses of the 3D world. So when we're talking about transcending the shadow side, the ego, in order to transcend something, we have to be aware of what we're trying to transcend. And transcend doesn't mean beating it up, doesn't mean dogging it. It means, Glue, come on in, brother. Ask the invite so we can do this thing double. I'm just waiting on you. I'm just warming them up till you get on here. We got the God Glue. He getting in a little late. He just came from helping the kid with karate, man. That's super cool. So going back to that, if we don't recognize and accept, that's the main thing. That's why radical self-acceptance. We have to accept that I have trauma that's laying dormant in me, and something happened, it activates, and I say, no, someone triggered me. When we're triggered, that's the perfect sign that, hey, I can release this and stop clinging to this as if this is me. And unless this is me. Got the God coming in right now. Any comments? Any Anything that y'all want to say, please leave the comments down low. Peace and love to the God. Namaste, my brother. Glad you could be.
Stay.
So this is a conversation, not just for here and now, but any question, anything we say that you want to add to or more clarity, please don't be afraid, man. Drop it in the comments. It's a slight delay. They'll give us time to connect with it.
Yeah.
Peace, God. Brother Hakeem, God Hakeem, how was your day today, brother?
Peace. Everything is blessing, man. You know, dealing with the future, working with the future. So, you know, that's always good for a nice charge of the soul, you know. So today is a wonderful day, man. How about you, man? How's your day?
Oh man, my day was so beautiful. I had a chance with one of my guys who I told I want you to meet. Nala, we were actually in day at a swab job field, getting a little gymnastic rings in and a little boxing today outside in nature with this
Okay.
roof shopper singing bowl. So we was in nature day, brother, just doing what we does, man.
Sir. Yes,
Hmm.
sir. Already
Yeah,
love where you going, man. Keep that train of thought. I wrote down radical self-acceptance.
yeah.
Um really when you pass on you keep the consciousness, so that's a lot. We talking about transcending, so the transcending is going with accepting the shadow side, which you know, yeah, I love where you going, man. That train of thought, man. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, man. So, with that, I was outside the other day and I was noticing how the shadow was in the tree, and I'm thinking like we want to be spiritual, but we want to have the light without the darkness, and that's not gonna happen.
Facts. Facts.
So we have to be organic with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been to a couple of spiritual retreats, and I noticed it's a percentage of out there. They want to give you, I'm like a preacher, I'm gonna give you just enough so you can keep investing in my workshop, but I'm not actually gonna free you. I want to
Right.
free people. You know what I'm saying? I don't,
Right.
I don't want to have you, oh, you trying to figure it out. No, man, it's the body, is the subconscious mind, and we got to accept that shadow side that's dragging it, and that's active, deactivated in our body. Just being
Yes,
aware of
sir.
it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's a hard part, you know, because the ego. A lot of the times, the ego was built in response to the world around us. You know, it's responses that kind of overlay over the top of each other, and it builds kind of a shield to protect us from the world around us. And but in addition to that, in addition to us being conditioned to be responsive to the world around us instead of impressive on the world around us, we also built this image of like, this is who I need to be. This is how I'll be more easily accepted by the world. This is what will help me navigate through the world more easy. And everything that doesn't fall within that cookie cutter gets pushed in the shadows. And now that becomes your shadow side, your inner child. That becomes now the demon in your closet, you know? So accepting that shadow side is big because, I think the prerequisite to accepting that shadow side is no longer looking for acceptance from the world around you, you know?
hmm
So it's a
hmm
step in the right direction. I'm taking notes as like lab, taking notes myself.
Hey, but it's so beautiful because we speak by the ego. We have to, first of all, we gotta take the ego off the grandstand like it's guilty or something. Because the
Facts.
ego was
True.
here to protect us in the dinosaur days.
True.
But now it evolved and now trying to help us psychologically. And we don't need
Yeah.
to be in survival mode psychologically. So we need to understand what the ego is doing. Go in there,
Sir.
mentally reprogram that ego. Say, look, I don't need you to be in survival mode. I'm not running by the T-Rex come to snatch me up. I'm good. So
Yeah.
let's shift into that living mode, to that being mode, to that flowing mode.
Yes. Yes. And in dealing with the ego and everything, and really coming into the mindset that the ego is not the enemy, that no part of you is the enemy.
Right.
I come from a scriptural base, and in the scriptures I read, my scriptural preference reference is Genesis 1. It says when God made everything, it said he looked at everything and said everything is good. So everything about you is good. I don't come
Mm-hmm.
from a perspective that God, when when the creator sent you down here, he sent you here tied to a demon. And now you got to figure out how to unpair yourself from this demon. Every part of you is a part of a whole. Every part of you is complete. So once we get out of the misteachings of, scripture, where it says you have to crucify everything that's not holy and pure within yourself, and you understand that this is a part of you too, and this actually might be the realest part of you, because this is the part that say, well, I don't care how people see me. It is what it is. Now we can start dealing with that part of ourselves from a much more conducive standpoint,
Yes. Wow. That's so true, because like you said, when we don't want to accept the ego, we're not accepting ourselves as whole. When the Most High said it was good, it was talking about in the whole totality of every essence of what it was. And if we reject this one part of ourselves, we're not being whole. When we come being whole, now we're in the misconception that we're separate from that oneness, and that's the delusion that leads to fear, because fear is based on separation. And I don't been somewhere before. You see a little kid get lost from their parent, they panic. Same thing we have. We get disconnected from our spiritual parent, and we panic based on fear. We have to recognize it's only an illusion that makes us think that we're separated from our source creator. So we got to get out of that illusion, that what I call that way, I call it toxic positivity. Something needs to be done. Not saying no. I don't believe in toxic positivity. We need to actually sit down and meditate, and then get the insight to move forth with the solution.
Yes, it's the action that's missing. A lot of what we're bringing right now are actionable steps, because we've been taught when it comes to dealing with spirituality, it's ideology. It's sitting around a big round table of think tanks and like, all right, so how do you perceive this? Or how do you see it? How do you see this? And that's good if you're going to use it to kind of gain an understanding of something so you can make action. But if it's now becoming, they call it intellectual masturbation is what they call it.
Right.
If it now just becomes that, us sitting around the table, talking about who has the best theories on life, and we will miss the purpose behind spirituality, which is for what we learn to evolve us and help us to ascend. And we'll be getting deeper into that as the live goes on.
Yeah, you just said something I want to clarify, because some of these words are so, you can't grab them because they got so many meanings. So spirituality just means that you're not looking outside for no solution, looking inside for the solution. And when you're really looking for something outside, a better job, a better relationship, whatever it may be, we're not looking inwardly. So when we say spirituality, I mean we're looking inside, and we're going through all our trauma, all our shortcomings, and we'll recognize what we're doing, and we're adjusting to them, and we're accepting them, and we're healing them right where they are. That's how that goes,
If you walk with your light self, you've been walking with your light self, or the part of you that you accept. You've been walking with that self all the way up into this point. So what are the things in your life that still needs to be changed? What are the walls in your life that you're still hitting? Where are the areas where you're still stuck? Where are the times where you feel like you don't have a purpose, or you don't know what direction you're going, or you don't know where you're going? Well, how about those other parts of you that's in the closet? Maybe they know. Maybe they have an idea. Maybe, one of the most powerful things I learned is that emotion means energy in motion. So when we have these emotional outbursts, it's energy begging to be expressed. So, we are the same part of nature as the animals, but the animals don't have the intellect to deny their intuition. If the intuition hit a whole herd of animals and say, listen, you need to pack up and leave this savannah, it don't matter if they've been there for 20 generations, they all gonna get up and they gonna migrate away. The only difference between us is we have the intellect to be like, nah, that ain't real. Well, nah, how come ain't nobody else doing it? How come I'm the only one that's feeling it? And that's what kind of separates us from being able to move as a whole entity. An animal accepts that, hey, God can speak to me and tell me when my herd needs to move. It also accepts that, hey, if you come on this territory, I'm going to rip your head off. I'm going to tear your head off, and I'm going to leave you laid in the grass somewhere. I would say that this is a good parable to understand what it is to be whole. Just because it's not all light, it's not all dark, but it's having that balance. You know what I'm saying? And we feel like if we acknowledge these darker parts of ourselves, then somehow we can't be connected to a higher power. And that's not true.
So everything that happens, it basically puts us under the spell of the illusion as if we're separate. And then by us thinking that the mind is the body, whatever thought we have, the body automatically responds to it. So with meditation and self-acceptance, I recognize that I'm not my body is not my thoughts. I'm the body. I'm the person that actually observes and watches my thoughts. I'm the observer of my thoughts, and I got a choice to choose what thoughts will I or won't I engage, because now we have the willpower. I don't have to automatically listen to the thoughts inside my head. We do because it's so close to us. When we recognize, hey, if those are my thoughts, if I say stop doing it, you will stop doing it, but you're not. You're trying to get me to hurt myself or somebody else, so you can't come from the source what I know, which is love. So let me sit down and check myself and recognize what is trying to influence me and kidnap my energy on the inside. That's going to have my consciousness focused on that. And once we do that, it's almost like cognitive therapy. Being very mindful of each thought that you have before it penetrates your tongue out your mouth and touches your heart. You know, check it with my mind before it come out your mouth.
Yes. That's the being connected part. The being connected is we are all connected, but because we're not conscious of this connection, we begin picking up the thoughts that are most prevalent in the cloud. So you get these thoughts like, man, I want to give up on life. I want to quit on life. And we accept these thoughts as our thoughts, especially when we're in isolation. Isolation is needed, but when we spend abundance of time in isolation, you don't get out to talk to other people, and they're telling you that they're feeling the exact way that you feeling, and you like, word for word. So once you start understanding, like, okay, I am the observer of the thoughts, it's like, okay, who are these thoughts coming from? Oh, this is how the collective is feeling. So now spirituality is like, spirituality gains new ground. For me, spirituality was new grounds because spirituality taught me that now you can become the one that, instead of letting the cloud, the thoughts of the cloud influence you, now you can become such a powerful vibration that now your thoughts begin to influence the cloud. At that point, I don't know if you can still call those thoughts. I don't know what you call that anymore, but it's a higher vibration for sure.
Well, see, let's talk about thoughts. If we're thinking, most of the time we're thinking a high percentage, I'm thinking about the past or I'm thinking about the future. If I'm present moment thinking and I'm controlling my content and energy, now what I'm doing is I'm co-creating. I'm manifesting right now. You follow me? That's what I'm doing. I don't want to have old thoughts. I need to have a fresh thought that's present right now in this moment. We want to have present moment thinking. We don't want to have past thinking. We don't have future thinking. We want to be present right now in my body, in this breath, in this moment, talking and understanding what's going on. That kind of thing we want to have. Present moment, something fresh or something new that got to do with what's relevant right now, this moment that we're breathing. That's the kind of thing that we want to come more immune to.
Yeah, that's the pain is the expansion. I would say the pain funds the expansion. The pain fuels the expansion because the pain tells you where your purpose is. Wherever your purpose is, that is where you'll have the pain. So when we seek to sedate it or turn away from it or numb it, you end up being in a vacuum where your life feels meaningless, and you know you're living for the next smoke, or you're living for the next drink, or you're living for the next time you can bump and grind. You know what I'm saying? Because you're turning away from the pain that's telling you, hey, the reason you feeling this pain is because this is what you were put down here to fix. This is what you were put down here to change. And it's living with purpose. Purpose is a big part when it comes to spirituality. Purpose.
You said a couple of key things that definitely trigger something. Let me touch on pain. I understand for me, pain was the key that freed me. Because once I'm in pain, that showed me I'm resisting something that needs to be released and I'm clinging to it. So when I feel the pain, I know it's time for me to accept and transform. It's the time to we got growing pain, we got spiritual pain, we got all type of pain. But when it comes to this right here, we want to turn our head to it. No, we want to actually breathe and not think that we are the pain, but showing, hey, pain, what is it you want to show me? That if I do what, I can untether myself from you. The pain is the teacher for me. When I feel painful, like if you hurt your toe, it's in pain to get your attention. Like, hey, what you need? Some ice to wrap it up. Same thing. Spiritually for that pain. What is it that the body needs to purge to vibrate higher on them higher frequencies? So I'm not so available for low vibrating frequencies. You know, we're gonna be unavailable for them frequencies.
Yes, yes. And it becomes very powerful. You know, the expansion is the prerequisite to ascension. Mm-hmm. You know, as you expand, you get the foundation, and now you build what you need to build in order to start now amplifying that signal. You know, so the expansion is like, it's apathy. I really believe in that. I saw that in the book on Power versus Force as well. Okay. But yeah, a lot of people lean on apathy as the way to go. Like, well, it doesn't involve me. Right. You know, see no evil, hear no evil. But no, you need to see that. You need to see, you know, you need to see those children dying. And that needs to affect you. Of course. You know, you need to see what's going on in the streets, and it needs to affect you. And not that it needs to affect you, but if it affects you, you're called to do something about it. Because one thing I learned, everybody's not affected by the same thing. Mm-hmm. You are affected by what your purpose is and what you're here to do. So if you're seeing something and you're like, man, you know, it's bad that, you know, kids are passing, you know, I pray for them, but it don't really affect you. But you see a girl's going through domestic abuse and you like, man, that just gets me so angry. I don't know. That's your purpose. That's your direction. You're meant to deal with that. So let the pain, like you said, your pain is a teacher. Let the pain teach you where your purpose is. And once you find where your purpose is, now you can begin to direct the expansion in the ascension. So, you know, by us being unconscious, a lot of times people can relate to our pain. I like to make myself relatable and find a common bond with it. So for you, what pain? Because I know for me, I had to have a painful experience for me to transform into the spiritual being I am right now. So for you, what painful experience or experiences help you or was fuel for you to push you through to another type of awareness within? Rejection. Rejection. Big time rejection. Because after working with rejection, understanding rejection, knowing what it feels like, knowing the heights, knowing the depths, knowing the width, knowing, you know what I'm saying, knowing all the dimensions of it, now as I begin to encounter those as I get older who I have the experience in order to help, they're all dealing with different levels of rejection. Because I've been in it, I'm able to not only sympathize, but now empathize. I'm actually able to resonate with the energy that is keeping them bound. And if you can resonate with something, you can move it. You know, if I'm speaking in the bass in my voice is vibrating this table, that same frequency, that same resonance is vibrating a star on the other side of the universe. It's the same thing. If I can understand the pain in my life, then I can understand the pain in the lives of my tribe, in my people. And now if that pain is keeping them bound, if I was able to come free, now I become the key. Now I become the teacher, as the pain was for me, to now teach them on how to be free without them having to go through as much extensively as I did. Now they can hear my advice and be like, nah, I have to go through it for myself. That's cool. I'm still here to lead you and guide you if you want to get off that hamster wheel, you know. For some people, it is necessary to go through that process because they need to learn for themselves, because they will in turn be leaders. But for other people, they like, hey, if you telling me that's what it is, I can get off right here. Lead me the rest of the way and lead me, you know what I'm saying? And for either way, either you're training the next leaders or you pointing people in a better direction. But for me, it was the rejection. I see that everybody, including my nation, including melanated people, including everybody I deal with, they're all going through different levels of rejection. I said, okay, so even the pain is a part of the plan.
Right, right, right. So as you're
Yeah.
talking, and you said the tribal pain, so is it safe to say that for myself, it was self-rejection that was my main form of rejection? That's almost a tribal pain for melanated men, because if I self-reject myself, I'm reflecting all what other people are going to do. So how does that sound to you? Self-rejection is the number one form of rejection right now. How does
Agreed.
that?
Agreed. 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 Because when other people don't accept you, and where the body would naturally go within and be like, well, I'm cool, it don't bother me. Now we start entertaining thoughts, especially when we're younger. All right, well, what do I need to change? What do I need to become to be accepted? Let me see what they like. Let me mimic what they do. Let me see what options the world gives me for who I should be. And if I don't fit any of them options, which you won't, because they'll never give you anything that resonates with the true you, because then you'll be too powerful to control.
Right,
But
right, right.
let me find the option that's close enough to me, and let me now cookie cutter myself into that. So now the self-rejection becomes the root of now all rejection. Because like you say, number one, you're projecting. Number two, something I learned when I got older, people will accept you much more when you are your true self than if you're trying to play to be accepted. A person who's playing to be accepted, they will deal with you from the whether conscious or subconscious understanding that through that you will be easier to control. Like, oh yeah, he'll do whatever to be accepted by me, so I can use this to get a level of control on him. But when you your own person and you stand in your own power and people grow to respect that. And you actually end up getting a more genuine form of acceptance than trying to dress up and play whatever part you need to play to fit in with whatever room you're in.
So basically, the main thing is just be organic, and you will attract way, way, way more.
Way more. And that's always been the way. That's always been the way. Anything that the outside world is offering you that even appeals to you, you already have it. But they want you to trade the organic of what you have for the fake. Because they know how to use the organic. The powers and principalities, they know how to use that organic. They may use it for a light bulb. They may use it to power the next machine that destroys a village. They may need it to power new ideas on how to continue to, steal, kill, and destroy. But they'll give you plastic copies so they can take the real thing and alchemize it for their own work. And it's time for light workers. It's time for us to start taking this world back in the name of the Creator. That's what differentiates us from the animals. The animals can't take this world back, but we have the intellect to do so. And it's taking it back for the light, for the light, taking it back for the embetterment of all mankind. And I don't want to be on here, thinking like we are the world. The embetterment of all mankind starts with the embetterment of your own family, your own community, and your own tribe. That alone will give you guys the collective vibration that if that's all you do in your lifetime, that'll make change in the world in itself. So let's not put the cart before the horse. I don't want to sound like that's what I'm doing.
Solution based. That definitely, because if we're gonna present you with a situation, we gotta also present you with a solution to that situation. You write it up. So you will read my mind already what the solution is to that. And so the solution with the ego is to awaken the ego fully, to allow a higher authority to lead you and guide you, not beside desire, envy, because we can't, once again, we talk about wholeness and the dark and the shadow side. So if I do not fully awaken my ego and I keep making it my adversary or evil, I'm rejecting an aspect of myself. So we have to fully awaken our ego and understand what it's doing. And we're trying to keep us in survival mode. So now we got to go in there like an old transmission and shift it into living mode. And when we do that, our actions have to reflect that we truly believe now that we are living in a knowing system, and we're shifting from that belief system based on a survival ego. And when that's done through like affirmations, these type of conversations, and understanding who you are as a divinity beyond this earth suit, what we call a body.
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes. It, would- it would be a it would be a very powerful thing once we begin to understand the need for the ego. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
I like to speak terms that hit those walls. Like, hold on now, I wouldn't say we need it. I just say we need to kind of accept it and just let it sit
Mm-hmm.
quietly in the corner in the room. But you need it.
Of course.
You
I
need every
got
part of yourself,
yeah.
including the parts that's deepest in the dark.
Because just think about who knows you better than your ego.
Yeah.
I can do you one step further. Myself, I sat down with my ego 10 years ago. I said, ego, look, I know your entity. I'm
Yes.
not here to kill you. I'm
Yes.
just here to show you I need you to put out a different product beside that low vibration stuff you're putting out. You got the
Yeah.
factory, you got the workers, you got the belief system already. So I just need you to shift to a knowing system to a higher vibration, that's self-love, that's self-love, that's empowering. Once we do that, bro, I promise you, I'm not trying to kill you because if we try to kill the ego, it's gonna fight for its life. And it has so
Fact.
much momentum, you know, it's gonna throw us off. No, dog, I ain't trying to kill you. I can't do that because you part of me. I
Yeah.
can't kill me.
Yeah.
So I'm stopping that.
Yes.
Like, let's sit
Yeah.
down. Let's have a conversation. Let me wake you all the way up and let me really see what you need. So now we can be co-creative because we got to be. And once we resolve that, I ain't got to worry about holding energy to hide behind true I feel. This energy can be based on attracting what I need to grow myself and others in this tribal pain evolution that we're going through right now.
Yes. As you were speaking, I heard a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. So
Mm-hmm.
fighting against your ego is war within yourself. That war will destroy you. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. So the expansion and the expansion is really creating room to really have a firm platform for the totality of your kingdom, bringing everybody to the table, bringing all parts of you to the table. And now the ascension is, okay, now that I understand the totality of who I am, now how do I begin to master that totality? You know? So yeah. Yeah,
Oh
as long
boy.
as you want to war.
Man, hey, you were saying something so wonderful. The phone started breaking up.
I don't know where it cut off, but I was just reiterating, as long as there's a war within yourself, and I like you said something powerful during the last live, is realizing that you are whole.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you're going to deal with compartmentalization of different parts of yourself, you're dealing with it from the perspective that I am already whole. If you got a bunch of parts and you're trying to bring it together without that realization, it's like, all right, well, I don't know where these fit. It's like trying to put the puzzle together without having the picture on the box.
Right,
You know,
right, right.
now when you understand, okay, this is the totality of who I am, it makes that journey easier because now you can begin to put these different parts together. But like I was reiterating, as long as those parts are at war with each other, you won't be very conducive in this life.
You just said something that made a lot of sense. If and when the body, you know, if and when, understand that the body is the subconscious and it holds a memory. Let's look at the psychodynamic trauma, meaning the issue that happened as a kid that we
Yes.
grew up with, that rejection, that let down, that not having that one-on-one attention because our parents working. How did that calcify our belief system in ourselves and kind of freeze us in that time emotionally, coming from your perspective dealing with childhood, inner childhood work?
Mm. With us not loving ourselves and understanding who we are, let's say we are the expression of God, right?
Right.
We are the expression of God. So now what those moments did for us is it gave us, imagine this, a world without God.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything you're learning, oh man, that disappointment. Oh man, that rejection. Oh man, that hurt. I can't believe they didn't show up for me. I can't believe they weren't there for me. Oh man, I'm disappointed again and again and again. That is there to teach you who not to be and who to be. I'm gonna be there for people. I'm not gonna reject people like this. I'm not gonna, disappoint people. I'm gonna do the best I can to be the best I am so that I can be there for people. It's teaching you what not to be. It's also teaching you what the world needs. So, but when we're younger, we don't understand that. Oh man, this is teaching me what kind of God I am.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, in spirituality, that ideology that gives ideology about God. God can have over 365 names, which means that us as expressions of God, what kind of God are you? It's not enough to be, oh yeah, I'm God. Okay, what kind of God? What are you here to deal with? What is your purpose? What are you here to point to? If you're using God as a way to run away from the pain and say, I don't feel pain because I'm God, incorrect.
Right.
Incorrect. What are you the God of? And when you feel that pain of, oh man, once you understand that pain, you understand how you don't want to make other people feel. So what paralyzes us is when we become an unconscious vessel for that pain and we start inflicting that pain on others.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But as we become conscious, it's when you feel that pain, it's like, no, because now I'm able to understand how this action is going to make that person feel. So I'm going to use my knowledge of how this feels, and I'm not going to let that person go through that. Now you become the filter. Now you become the gate. Now little things like this begins to change the vibration of the world. It begins to change the frequency of the world, even if by decimal places. It's 8 billion people on the world. If everybody's doing that, that equates to one big change.
And what you just said makes so much sense. What we're dealing with is non-linear, non-form. And what you describe is it's the small things in the quantum field that make so much sense. It's called the law of sensitive dependence on initial conditions. That's the same as the butterfly effect. So if I do one small increment here, eventually that small increment will affect the whole, and I will break through to a whole nother energy. So if each day, an inch a day, each day I had to give myself one little small part of affirmation, after a while, my whole vibration will change based on that small increment of law of sensitive dependence on initial condition. And we keep doing that. Now we become that light that's walking, showing the resurrection of the inner Christ, showing, you know what? I'm going to love all living things and show them respect by my, not my word, but my action going to speak louder than my word. And you become that walking meditation or that walking prayer. We're like asking for, you become that. You become that change you want to see, and stop talking about it and start walking. It become a lifestyle.
Yes. And I think that is a very beautiful path. It's a very beautiful path for you to set within yourself that I'm not going to make other people feel the way I was made to feel. Not saying that you have unforgiveness for that. You understand that the purpose of that was to understand what the world should be. How you feel you should be treated is the same way you now need to treat the people around you. And if you set that outside of yourself, then it becomes, I treat people based on how they treat me. When you set that within yourself, then this is who I am. Well, why you, if they cussing you out, I cuss them out back. Nah, I cannot change. I am that I am. I am that I am. Little changes like that begins to ripple effect. And ripple transcends time.
You just took me, you helped me get back in my way back machine. When that happened, when somebody would curse me out, I would ask myself, what's my part in this, and what did I do to manifest that? So what they're doing, they're mimicking something within me. So let me check myself. And I'm gonna thank you for showing me something. I need to go home and check myself, because you did nothing but show me something within myself that resides. Because I know if something agitates me in my environment, it's either in me or in my environment. Let me check myself first before I point the finger outside. So it's been responsible for my shit. Like, I'm not pointing the finger. I don't want to play the victim. I'm the victor over my situation. I'm the author of my story. I'm the director of my movie. I'm the co-creator of my reality. So why am I pointing the finger? outside. That's worldly. It's me. What am I doing to cause this, man? I love taking responsibility for what I'm doing. So now it helps me get closer to my true organic self. That's not hiding behind ego. That's not worrying about being judged. That's actually just being, once again, naked with all my clothes on, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, it's one thing that I assert. We have been taught that, or the prevalent, let's say the prevalent teachings when it comes to self-love is that self-love is more so of an isolation thing. Self-love is for isolation. Self-love is to say, the world is hurting me, so I'm just going to love myself. Forget the world. I'm just going to love myself. And the assertion that I always make, coming from experience of how self-love changed me, is that, and it's what I'm getting from this live as well, what I got from the live, what came to me is inner love is setting the algorithms for how to live your life, how to process these things you're going to go through as you're walking through the world, not in your church, not locked in your living room, not locked in your house. Self-love isn't a substitute for living life. Girl, self-love is just changing the process by which you interpret and perceive the things around you so that you can have the proper output. Self-love is literally programming yourself to imprint on the universe and kind of unprogramming yourself from where the universe has been imprinting on you.
Mm-hmm. And so with that, I put it from self-love to self-fullness. Because if I know I'm full with and within myself, I'm able to give freely because I'm full. If I'm one of my I would say walls I would hide behind was I'm giving myself some self-love or some me time. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm actually licking my wounds in silence that I want people to know. You feel me? So in my mind, that's a form of toxic positivity. Now I want to talk about, look, this is how I'm feeling. And when I do that, I'm lifting interest from that body. And now I'm not coming from an ego standpoint. I'm coming from a spiritual purpose standpoint. And there's totally different power when you release that.
Now, for me, it's the first time I'm hearing this euphemism, but I like it. You got to break down, how do you define toxic positivity? How do you break that down? How do you define that? Because I think that's important to know because I see a lot of it, but how do you break that down?
The first thing I break down is you can see somebody suffering. And I say, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. I say, you blessed and highly favored. I say, so what does that truly mean? Then somebody might say, what you going? No, I'm cool. I said, man, you need to, you're not really cool, bro. I done seen cool, and that's not related. Well, this is what it was. We don't want to admit that when we have a so-called a breakdown, but why not? We would lie to ourselves. Another thing is fake it till you make it. No, man. Because I'm faking it. I'm lying to myself. So all them forms of God got my back or I'm letting God deal with me. No, because God ain't going to come down and hold you accountable. You know what I'm saying? So all that kind of stuff to me is toxic positivity, man. Like, not for God to hold you accountable and make you say, go wash dishes or go brush your teeth because you brush that. You don't do all that, man. So you hold you, because we don't want to be responsible for our shit. We want to say, we might say, you know what? I've been busy trying to write me a book for the last 4 years, so I'm being busy. No, dog, that ain't what you're doing. Say, look, my life fucked up. I don't really know what I want to do. Can you help me? And now we got a clean slate, and now there's no undertone of you lying to me because you know when somebody telling the truth, how they feeling about it. As soon as you say something about it, they get defensive. And now the whole conversation has changed because they can't be true within themselves. So how can you be true with me? You know what? I said, when you read it, I'm here for you. I don't judge. I don't critique. I don't break them down. I just gotta love you. That's all I say, and I get it.
Right. I like that. I like that. See, that's why these spaces are important, because I realize how hard facing the pain could be when you're in that lower vibrational state and you're trying to come out of it. So I said, okay, you know what? My spirituality teaches me about something called grace. Okay, let me hold your hand. You got to face this, but I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to help you face it. And I'm going to help you do it. So maybe the fact that you're not going through it alone, maybe that will help you get over the hurdle, get over the hump, instead of saying, I'm going to live my life running away from it. That's where these spaces and these vibration centers become powerful, because now I'm going to resonate with you and I'm going to help you amplify your signal to now be stronger, to now break through where this thing may have had you bound for a couple of years and you trying to do it by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it's so many rules that we use every day, but we don't apply it to the spiritual world, like having a workout partner. You could work out by yourself, but having somebody that actually going to push you in a positive way that you can tell anything without being judged, that's more powerful than having somebody spot you lifting 345 over your
Right.
chest, because they're gonna actually make you be accountable for what you got going on, and then walk through with, let's find a solution or another way to look at it. When you do that, it's so empowering because they're not feeling judged, and they feel that, you know what, we got something in common, and you can relate to me, you gonna help me through it. They open their mind, their heart, and their spirit is released, so they're no longer holding that burden of don't nobody get it, or I'm by myself.
Yes,
So it's
yes,
powerful
yes,
with that, man. Very powerful.
yes, yes. I learned that through music, the power of resonance.
Mm.
Power of, and if you take two of the same wavelengths and you put them on top of each other, they amplify, they get louder. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So when you have a bunch of people vibrating together on the same resonance, on the same wavelength, going in the same direction, each one of those individual people become more powerful based on
Mm-hmm.
how many of us are resonating together, you know? And yeah, it's that's why I don't agree with the whole isolation thing. Isolate to make yourself better for the collective. Isolate so that, like you said, I'm full and I'm giving you out of my abundance, not out of little I have. But we definitely have accountability and a responsibility to our tribe, the people around us, and the other people who we have been given the power to help through our individual life experiences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Hmm. It's going back to this tribal pain that we have, and of this self rejection of self, and what we're doing is just basically breaking down different formulas to radically how to accept yourself right where you are as you evolve. The whole totality. Accept the stuff that you don't want people to know about. Accept that part. Don't try to
Yeah.
compartmentalize it. Don't put it to the side, because it's basically going to be turned into a cancer. It's going to eat you up from the inside, very, very slowly. And I'm coming from my experience,
Right.
how I was hurt, and how I felt rejected within myself, and how it made me not want to eat, can't sleep. So it affects the body. Now I went into a fast because my mind trying to figure out what's going on in this body. Why are we not eating? Why are we not sleeping? What is going on?
Yeah.
I had an emotional unbalance. I had to actually check myself and just kind of get back into myself. And when we going through something, that's when these tools and our faith is most prominent. It's not when everything's going our way. It's when stuff not going our way. When we feel
Right.
that pain uncoming, that we need to kick in with them tools.
Facts. And that's what comes to the thing now of the greatest lights have the greatest shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when we start talking about tribal pain or communal pain, this now you're talking about ancestral blockages. You are born to your tribe is where your ancestors interact with the physical realm. Okay, it's where they evolve, it's where they grow, and they know when it's time for me to, come down, when it's time for me to incarnate. This is my tribe, this is my rock bed, this is where I plant my seed, and they're going to grow through the one that has the biggest light. What does that mean? If you're born and you just have that light, you're a light worker, you're born with that vibration, you're the chain breaker.
Mm-hmm.
You are the one that's called to break the curses. You are the one that's called to find that slip knot and open up these cycles. When you begin to shine, all the shadows in your tribe, all the shadows in your lineage, all the shadows in your bloodline, they will all come to you now.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say, because it resonates when people hearing it, they're like, yo, I can remember going through that. I can say I remember times where it feel like there were 1,000 voices in my head. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, where is all of this coming from? Like, I
Right.
just want to be normal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just want to be regular. Like, what is going on? You know? But because your light is so bright, the shadows are coming to you to be healed. And once you step into that, now the intellect, the divine intellect, will now begin to entrust you with things you need for abundant manifestation. Things like authority, things like dominion, the ability to speak and to shift and move atmospheres. It's gifts that we already have, but now the source says, let me plug directly into these gifts and supercharge them. Now begins to give the path to your ascending and ultimately, you know, what some people call the rapture, but it's really just a translation. Light and matter. Matter is just light slowed down very slow. So when you vibrate high enough, you translate. You become something that becomes, it's no longer the consciousness imprinting on you. Now you become that consciousness. You live in that consciousness. We call that the ancestral realm. You live in the consciousness. You become the protector of peace. You become the spirit of acceptance. You become the spirit of love. You become the spirit of embracing the children. You become the spirit of kingship or protection, or you become what you are on earth. You are evolving to be what you will eternally be for those who need you. We going somewhere.
Wow. And so that's a good segue. So just like you said, the ancestry realm and the vibration of the cells. So in our chakras, if we have such dense energy between the atom and electron, the energy can't move free like it need to. So when we go in and clean our chakras and we're not caught on trauma and past in our DNA, now that leaves all 7 energy wheels ready to receive that insight from our ancestors, because we're not busy occupied with this self-dwelling thoughts. And we're showing the answer, hey, I'm here to not only transcend my pain, but your pain too. Send it to me, let me clean it. So now we become the cleaner. Like the purple flame comes in, doesn't attack it, it cleans it and put it back at a natural essence, which is unconditional love. So we need to do what we're doing. We're energy cleaners. We're cleaning that energy from our DNA level. And what we do that is heartfelt intentions. Our DNA is very like, it's like Play-Doh. If we send enough heartfelt intention, like I am love, I am whole, I am prosperity, we rewire our DNA from such a lower vibration. It could come from our ancestors that went through a famine that feel like they don't deserve to eat every day, that they don't deserve to have a house. You gotta go in there and change that code in your DNA and let it and allow it to let you vibrate at this present moment frequency. And now you and therefore after the DNA will rewire, and your kids will come to a whole other different level of that.
Yes. Yes. They start talking about when they start talking about concepts such as God in the flesh. When I look at God, I see a source, a spark, a flame, almost like a sun. The sun would be like a physical seeing of, you know, this concept, but a source, something from which all life expands, something from which all life came, something from which all life began. So now if you're talking about God in the flesh, now you're talking about you essentially being a source in the flesh. Now you become the source for the ancestors, for the people hurting on earth, for you become now that original code. You internally become the Garden of Eden.
What you just said, it brought me back in that segue, showing how the spirit resides in the body. If we kind of go back and look at when Yeshua was crucified on the cross, And 3 days later, after he was risen, as the story goes, we're just going by the story, not real or fake. But when he was risen, Lady Magdalene walked past him weeping and crying. She did not know who he was until he spoke. Why are you crying? My Lord and Savior is dead. No, I'm not. I'm here. That showed me in my mind that he did not come back in the same body. He took another body with the same spirit. A lot of people miss that. It's the spirit in us, not the body. It's the spirit in us that shows our glory. It's not the body. Once it's decayed, is gone. But the spirit can house another temple, what we call the body. So I keep telling people that. Why did she not recognize him until he spoke? That's like I see you in the same car you got all the time. Now you come through the new car. I'm not gonna know it's you until you roll down. What's up? Oh, you got a new whip. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, gangster? Fresh off the cross.
Right, man. Same thing, man.
Yeah.
Same thing, man. We just changed the vehicle, what we call a body, man. The same thing. So if we look at it from not such a it can't be real or romanticized situation or such fathomable, we can actually digest it and we can actually see it for its reality of what it is.
Yes. You know, the purpose is so important, because without a purpose, without something to keep your wheels moving on earth, it's all ideology. It's all, do you choose to believe it or not? Everybody's sitting around a table in a room with the windows closed saying, do you choose to believe what I'm saying or not? Without actually going out there. And I say that because, you know, I was one of the young ladies that I trained, and I'm like, do the punches, you know, and she's like, oh, her self-image is very negative. You know, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I suck. Oh, I'm terrible. Oh, I'm so bad. Oh, I'm so horrible. I'm so this, I'm so that. And you know, she's doing all the little hand signs and all this stuff. And I say, what is that hand sign? Dude, this is energy. So do you know what energy you're tuning to when you're doing these different hand signs, or are you just doing what you're seeing? You know? And she was like, well, I don't think it's the devil, you know, because I wear a cross around my neck. And I said, okay. So I say, what vibration is that cross? Right. What does that mean to you? And she said, not much, because Jesus is dead and he's never coming back. He's dead and he's gone. That was the emphasis. The emphasis wasn't never coming back as far as like, oh, I got to now evangelize to you about Jesus is coming back. No, it was he's dead. The world I come from, when I'm talking about, you know, the young lady, Liberty City, Miami. Right. When people get shot, they don't come back. Right. They don't resurrect. They don't walk around anymore. So Jesus is dead. He's gone. He's not going to come back. He's dead now. And can you be the person standing in front of that young lady, and now you can say, I house that spirit. But now standing in the real world, are you willing to accept the responsibility of housing that spirit, which is taking care of those sheep? It is the purpose that now starts giving you the true revelation behind the scriptures that really our African ancestors wrote, but may have been misinterpreted in some ways. So as long as you're sitting in the four walls trying to understand it for scripture's sake, yeah, maybe those little changes and little fixes will tie you up, because you're not living it to be like, no, what that actually means is this, 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 and that, because I saw it through actuality, through practice. But instead, we're sitting trying to idealize it. So things that we talk about on this live, somebody may look at it and be like, oh, this is just posturing. This is just hoodoo voodoo. This is just talking for no man's sake. But those people who say that are not the people that are in the trenches and see the people that need the understanding that we're taking the time to platinum sharpen platinum, that we taking the time to facilitate.
Wow. Yes, that is so true. I understand what we're doing is for the ones who want it. You know, it's not for the ones who think they want it, who uncertain. It's the ones who actually, it takes courage to radically accept yourself.
That's it. That's it.
So I don't have a delusional outlook thinking everybody gonna accept it, everybody gonna digest it. It's not for everybody, nor do I want it to be. It's for those who want it. So now I don't have to force feed you. Now it's like what we're doing, exchange of energy. I don't have to, you're not getting defensive, you're not trying to say you know more than each other. It's a
Right.
co-creation that we're doing right here. So when that happens, we're both open to receive and give information, and that's how we're actually evolving, and that's how we become immortal, because people know exactly how we feel, so we can never die when we're making Taylor's right here. We can always play it back and see what frequency and what he say or they say about it themselves. So when we keep doing it, it's just gonna keep growing. It's like momentum, like a snowball. A snowball might start very small up top. When I get that momentum and getting rolling, and it can't
Yeah.
stop, bro. Like whatever in the way, it's gonna pulverize. So the same thing. When that spiritual energy get flowing, bro, when two or more
Yes.
gather, because that comes with qigong too. So when we
Yeah.
get two or more people together, not talking about, we don't want to talk about religion. We want to talk about the esoteric
Right.
aspects of it. It's a
Yes.
momentum. It's the breathing. It's the prana that's present, that's giving us life. If we can breathe in and out our nose, it don't ask you for no ID. It don't ask you for no bank card. It don't ask you nationality. It don't ask you sexuality. If you can breathe in, you accept it. That's all you need. If you can
Mm,
accept that,
right.
when it's your time to go, I don't care how much money you got, you cannot buy another breath of air. It's impossible. It's impossible. So you asking yourself, it's important, but it's not the most essence. It's how are we breathing? That breath currency. That breath currency is, are you a billionaire when it comes to breathing, or are you just 100 air? Or you only breathe when it's convenient? So I want to be a breathinarian and breathe to be a Googlenaire. Or Googling has 100 zeros behind the comma. Each
Mm,
moment, like when I was going through depression, I was living life breath to breath. It wasn't a whole day. It was, nah, I ain't
mm,
gonna kill myself.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to eat something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot outside. So I know moment to moment how it is, and that helps you. And those moments add up to an hour, to 30 minutes, to a day. Each breath leads up to the totality of your story. So what are we doing between each breath? Are we allowing guilt and fear to come in, or are we allowing love and joy and unget love to come in to fuel ourselves and give us the ability to speak on a higher level for the source that's beyond time and space, to give us the intuition to speak, to release other people from the illusion of a lower self.
Mm. My question would be, radical self acceptance. I see it as stepping into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And there is responsibilities and accountability that comes into stepping into who you are. So, how does one who is seeking radical self acceptance conquer the fear that keeps them from accepting their way in such a accepting themselves in such a radical way, the fear of how others are going to receive it, the fear of how it's going to challenge others, the fear of they say people fear but they don't understand. How does one conquer the fear of radical self-acceptance?
The first thing is understanding why I'm fearful of accepting myself. That's the first thing, because if I'm in fear, fear and love can't occupy the same space. You know, and also fear is not the opposite of love. The opposite of love is indifference. You feel me? So they tricked us with that. The opposite of love is indifference. Fear is something that man put in us. We wasn't born with the spirit of fear. So we got to come out of that. Anything that we're fearing is not from our source creator. So if I'm in fear, I can accept myself because I'm not built in fear. I'm built in love. Them two different frequencies. So the first thing you do is love myself, because the Most High has given me the ability to wake up and turn us all over again. So the first thing is disassociate any thoughts, emotions that have anything to do with fear, because that's going to take you away from your soul. Start loving yourself unconditionally, not on condition. Right now, as I am, I'm going to love myself unconditionally as I evolve into my higher self. Now, don't remember, this doesn't stop until I die. So it's no finish line. It's
Right.
every day I'm going deeper and deeper inside. And start with love, bro, because you are love. So we start with love and be in love. Now that
Yeah.
vibration so high, we can't even entertain fear because we vibrate so high. Fear is based off of belief of separation. If I know, if I know I'm connected with what's going on, why would I allow fear to permeate in my mind for more than 3 seconds? Now we can let it think in our mind, but once again, if I have something in my mind, it can be something too positive to throw me off too. It ain't just negative. I can have
Yeah.
something so positive that throw me off from being present. I want to allow everything to pass through me. So I'm present. I don't want to have a spiritual backup like on turnpike. You got one lane open. You got traffic
Yeah.
from doggone Miami Gardens all the way back to Griffin because
Right.
one lane is closed. We want to open all
Right.
lanes. We have no spiritual back through. Whatever comes through, yeah. Don't cling to it. Don't hold to it. Oh, that's me. I shouldn't have did that. You're not in a position to judge yourself properly because you're looking from a disillusioned aspect. You're under demonic oppression of low self-esteem. You're under demonic influence of I should kill myself. So if we're looking at life situation, how can I truly evaluate myself coming from the spirit of fear? That's not my
Right.
natural, that's not organic, that's plastic. I can't even digest that. But we're trying to say, what's wrong with me? Why I can't get together? Stop
Right.
questioning and self-doubting yourself. That's part of not rejecting yourself as whole. So get out of love and transform yourself into unconditional love. Because we were raised on conditional love. We know what it
Right.
is, so now go to the opposite. Start focusing on what you don't want and focus on what you do want, which is unconditional self-love. You give it to yourself, people can't help but fall in line and give it back to you.
Right. That's powerful. You know, I ask those questions because, especially those who have grew up in the inner cities, we've been conditioned with things like self-hate
Mm-hmm.
and, self-hate is a tree that branches self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
solution, lack of belief in self. So now when we have to step into who we truly are and the power of who we truly are, it's like, no, that's not me. We almost fight against it. And we have to now work against these traumas that man put within us. And I like getting to the root of it, like it's self-hate. Oh no, no, I just don't know if I can do it. The root is self-hate. Because once you see it, you gotta ask yourself, do I hate myself?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're asking the right question to really. I deal with the slip knots. You can be messing with a knot and pulling different cord, but once you hit that slip knot, the whole thing falls out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really pointing people to the fact of, oh, I don't believe I can do it. Oh, I'm so bad. I don't believe I can do this punch. I don't believe I can do this kick. Oh, I'm so weak. I'm not strong. Why do you hate yourself? You don't see that all of these things are different forms of hating yourself. And now once we can identify it, now we can begin to accurately change it. Once you identify what's wrong with the car, now you know how to fix it instead of just saying, hey, I hear tinkering under the hood and I don't know what's going on. Let me try to check the fuel injector.
Mm. It's funny. It's very eye opening you say that because people don't say, I know I can do that. They say, I believe I can do it. That shows you're working on a low vibration and belief system because already in your mind, your brain is in survival mode. So it's going to tell you the quickest thing and the quickest result without no resource. So if you said I can't do something before I'm trying, I know that you already are. You're kind of kidnapped by lower vibration. And I got to come at you from a whole different way and ask you, why you feel that way? Have you tried it? Can you try to see what happens? Let's see if we can change how you feeling by putting an action to it and truthfully see based on reality, not your preconceived notion that you can't. Let's put reality in place and see really what you can. And we do, we're going to break that old habit of what you can't do.
Yes. So that becomes the love now. Now that becomes the love of saying, I believe in you to help you believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in you to help you, to show you why you are worthy of having faith in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Until you become strong enough to believe in yourself. It's kind of like the whole idea behind the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
From what I learned studying the Holy Spirit was that we each have a soul, but the soul, in order for the soul to be reborn, is a seed you got to put in the ground and water. So while that soul is growing and becoming full, I'm going to give you this Holy Spirit. This Holy Spirit is going to supplement your soul and it's going to keep you going until your soul is fully grown within itself. Now that becomes how we love other people now. well, you may not believe in yourself right now, but I believe in you. You know, you may not have faith in yourself right now, but I have faith in you. You may not love yourself right now, but I love you, until it sparks something in that person to start believing, having faith, and loving themselves.
When you just said that, one of the number one tools that I used to use when I'm feeling, I call it when I'm feeling icky or I'm in the mud, I would actually reach out and give other people positive affirmation that would help me lift my vibration. So if I'm feeling funky, I'm gonna speak to everybody. Hey, what you got? When I'm gonna listen to what you got going on, and now that's gonna automatically raise my vibration, help you solve yours. When I leave, I feel so much better. So like I don't isolate myself too much, because now when I do that, whoa. Like, hey, what you, man, that, I say, Carlton, what you doing? I'm thinking. Hey, stop, that's dangerous. Stop thinking. Don't do that. Stop where you are and stop thinking. Get out of there. Like, don't think.
Yeah.
Just be. So when you by yourself and all this stuff bombarding on you, and then you start rationalizing with it, you're gonna caught up, and it's gonna drag you back 20 years ago and make your body think it's right going on right now. You're not the observer. You actually become the experiencer. We want to be the experiencer and watch how our old thoughts try to grab us back from the old belief system that throw us off in vibration. And once we kind of catch that, like, you know what?
Yeah.
I do it. Not today. You ain't gonna get me today. Not today.
Yeah.
So I verbally speak to it, because if I don't, it's gonna hijack that body, and it's gonna pretend that it's me. So I address that there. I don't judge it, and I release it. Man, not today, cuz I got this today. Not today. Not today. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be powerful if we saw helping others as a form of self-love? You know what? I'm feeling bad today. Let me go reach out to somebody and help somebody. This is a part of my self-love routine. That would be powerful.
But see, that is because if I'm down, I can go love another version of me that's gonna help me get up. You feel what I'm saying? Because we all one. You feel me? So if I help you, I'm still helping me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. So I'm gonna help you to help me, then you gonna help somebody that's gonna help me. So now it become an intertwined wave, or that everybody connected. So now we like a network of trees. Everybody knows that your vibration look low, so we gonna invest in you. Hey brother, how you doing? Cool. Hey brother, you can do this right here. Hey brother, need something to eat. So now we are investing stock in your energy. So now your stock gonna rise up. You're gonna have a higher currency, you know what I'm saying? Energy is stock. Stock is energy. So I'm gonna invest my energy in you. And I'm not worrying what I get back, because I know when I give and you receive it, that's that dynamic of that Holy Spirit working right now. I'm watering the seed with spiritual water, with spiritual love, with spiritual attention. Now I'm doing my spiritual breathing. I'm no longer spiritually dehydrated, because I'm watering my spirit. So I'm no longer spiritually dehydrated, and I'm spiritually in faith, because I'm working that mental muscle, saying I am not my thoughts. I am my body. And once we kind of work on that each day, we kind of sharpen that platinum a little bit more. And once you do it for you know it, it becomes another habit. You don't rewire your groove, and now you're naturally just being an instrument for the energy that's beyond space and time to use you to reach other people.
I like that. I like that. I realize my students do that as well. I train my students, and I really pour into my students. And then I see my students now, they start building friends and they start building groups. And I say, okay. And you know, you get a little close and you hear what they talking about with their groups, and they're motivating their groups. And they're speaking positivity to their groups. And I say, okay. And they kind of watch you. They see what you do. And you like, come over. They don't want to come over. So you like, no, they watch you, and then they take it to their groups. And then they do thing amidst their groups. So I say, okay. So it's understanding, okay, I made this person feel a certain way. Something was set free in this person. So now they want to give that feeling to their group, because they recognize that their group is feeling how they used to feel. So by him doing this, helping me, now they can do that and help others. You know, it's a powerful thing when we connect to our communities, to our tribes, to the people around us. We really form a very powerful energy network. And all of these things coagulate to really change the vibration of the world around us.
Wow, man, I got so many notes here. It's
Yeah.
it's that self hate and that self rejection is the number one thing in that thing we talk about radical self acceptance. So we gotta stop
Yes.
with the self hate and get the self fullness and that self rejection. We gotta accept ourselves exactly as we are right in space and time right now. You know.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say in closing, my brother?
Oh man, we covered everything that needs to be covered. I do the lives in a way that if anybody comes to the live, you can get some nuggets out of it. You can get some gems out of it. So I think they full right now. I think they got a lot of soul food. I think their bellies is rolling over. We both given from our abundance. One can drive one can drive 1,000, two can drive 10,000. You know what I'm saying? So I think we fed 10,000 people, right?
Well, my brother, with that being said, all I'm going to say is namaste. I thank you for your energy and your
Namaste.
time, my brother, and just keep being you. And with that being said, man, where your energy at, baby? That's what's up, man.
Much love, love, blessing, peace and blessings, guys.
All
Much
right.
love.
One, enjoy, brother. Peace.
One. Yeah.